kettlebell swings are an absolute no-no, but I thought they were functional. Nope. So let me save your back and tell you why. First of all, in order for an exercise to be considered functional, you've got to ask yourself, functional for what? So when at any point in your life do you find yourself doing this movement? I mean, unless you're like a dog and you're, I don't know, throwing balls of dirt, you're really not going to be experiencing that type of movement in everyday life. Now, another thing to pay attention to is that when you are performing this exercise, the movements that are required of the body. So first of all, the biggest thing that we're looking at is hip hinge to hip extension. And most of the time, people don't have a whole lot of hip extension, right? And so what ends up happening is that they engage their low back in order to gain that extension. So when they're here, even though they're hinged and they're trying to come up, if this is not tucked properly and they don't have proper hip extension, the movement is going to come from their low back. So they're either going to create impingement in their hip joint itself, or they're going to create a hyperextension in the lumbar spine. Now, another important piece to recognize from that is that your lumbar spine, L5 in particular, is bigger in the front than it is in the back. Now, because of that, that is actually what helps to allow the natural curvature of the spine. But if you now start creating force that is moving in this direction, you are going to create that force around, it creates a shearing force on those vertebrae. This easily makes it susceptible to slipping the disc, to creating a bulging disc, as well as a herniated disc. Another thing to keep in mind when you're doing kettlebell swings or any exercise of this sort is that when you have some resistance that's pulled away from your body, you are increasing that load. So if you're carrying a 50-pound kettlebell, then take that 50 pounds and pull it away from your body, and it just got really heavy. So when you're taking that into account, you've got to take into account that level of inertia, that level of momentum. It is an uncontrolled movement that is guaranteed to create problems. In my experience, I really have probably only seen a kettlebell swing done correctly maybe 2 or 3 times, and I've probably seen over 1,000 videos. Do yourself a favor, save your back, and no more kettlebell swings.